of the Muslim Brotherhood, my family. I am a very, very sold on Islam person who lived since I'm 12 years old in Germany. My first language is not Arabic, not English, definitely. I speak English horribly, but my first language is German. And I am very strict Muslim. I never touch alcohol. I am very, very, very much of a Muslim. But I have never known if my friend is a Christian or a Jew or non-believer. This is typical for an Egyptian Muslim. He doesn't do these things. They got it all wrong. President Obama was a lot of his advisor who should be really fired immediately,
sacked,
including, sacked is very English. The American is fired, you know.
Should be harsher, yes. But you've mentioned the Muslim Brotherhood, Dr. Mohammed. How would you see the leaders of the Muslim Brotherhood at Rabaa al-Adawiyya intersection calling for the U.S. to come here to Egypt and reinstate former President Mohamed Morsi as the President of Egypt?
You know, I was slightly upset because we are half an hour late. You know, I'm a German in my timing. I forgot all that. When I just remember some of the words which were used in Rabaa al-Adawiyya, to know the man in front of you, I am a total pacifist. I don't carry arms. I oppose killing. I hate violence. And thanks God, I didn't have in my hand a gun to shoot the person who said this awful word, encouraging people to go into a civil war in Rabaa al-Adawiyya. I couldn't believe it. As I tell you, I respect Islam and I respect the Muslim brother. I think they had a great contribution. They had in the past contribution. What is that? This is not what I know about the Muslim brother, my friend, my families. I think the leadership went very wrong. Even a person whom I respect very much because it's more or less me. He's an engineer and he's a professor of engineering, Dr. Morsi. How could his last two speech happen? How could it happen? You know, I couldn't believe the language he's using. Something went very wrong with the leadership. But I will risk saying that even if a lot of people will be angry.
Yes.
Because I consider myself a liberal Muslim. The Muslim brother are not the Muslim brother leadership. Something went very wrong with this last leadership. Maybe the history, I don't know enough about it. I'm an atomic
A lot of the
scientist.
Egyptians didn't know about
I'm a
Muslim
theoretical physicist
before
and
they came
engineer.
into power, yes.
So I will not go into the history and split hair here and say the English had their hand here and there. This is all hearsay, and unless I have evidence in front of me as a scientist, I don't use such harsh accusation. But I know of certain things. Certain Egyptians who function as advisor to the American government and to President Obama personally misled him badly. Their crime is enormous, but it's moral crime. I wish we could prove it more and make it a penal crime. For me, they deserve lifelong imprisonment for misleading the President of the United States. But
and for
there is
misleading
something
the
in the hand
people
of
as a whole.
Professor, I would say Professor Obama, President Obama.
Okay, Dr. Mohamed, because we're running out of time, because I have a question about the government.
The ambassador, I want to say, the ambassador of the United States is totally unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. I say that on the risk she will never give me a visa, although I am a father of
so you can go in there. But what about the new cabinet under Dr. Hazem al-Biblawi? Because we have to talk about this, which was sworn in the past week. How can you see it?
I see it as an expression how the Egyptian people are coming together. And let me tell you why. I was one of the first to support that even if Dr. Baradei want to be the prime minister, I would have said yes. You will take it and you say, Baradei is my biggest political enemy.
Yes.
And I accept him. And I thank Dr. Baradei for supporting the revolution, although I know how weary he is from the word military. I am not. I feel comfortable when I hear the word military, maybe because the man who brought me up is an army general. But it's not only that.
Yes.
I know the military of Egypt. I know its history. I studied even Clausewitz, the holy book of military tactic. And I have enormous admiration for the greatest president of United States of America.
Yes.
Dwight Eisenhower, who was an army general and who won the World War II and landed on D-Day in Normandy. And in the same with the same token, may I go out of all proportion, I say, I would love to see Field Marshal Sisi being a candidate to become the president of Egypt. I will be sold on it. But Baradei is the opposite of me. I respect him. And I was so happy he's on our side, and I totally accept him. This cabinet is a civil cabinet with people of all directions, and I wish some of the Muslim Brothers and Salafi will participate. We are Egyptian first and most, and nothing else counts after that.
Yes, hopefully Professor Dr. Mohamed She7ata, the Professor of Nuclear Engineering and the political analyst, thank you very much for being with us today on My Cruise.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time to go out for a quick break to hear the song, so stay tuned.
زين كل عصر نوه عنها المهندس محمد الصاوي، كلمات الدكتورة سماء حازم والحاني.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise and, of course, celebrating the 10th of Ramadan war victory with the Major General Mohamed She7ata, the military expert. Hello, Major General.
Hello.
Hello. Of course, on the 10th of Ramadan of 1973, Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack against Israel. The war was brief, but it was hard-fought in the early stages as the Egyptian army overwhelmed the Israeli forces. This year, the 10th of Ramadan was the anniversary coincides with the very special conditions in the history of Egypt, as the President Mohamed Morsi was ousted and temporarily the constitution was suspended. And right now we're being joined by Rahma Zainuddin, our correspondent in Tahrir Square. Hello, Rahma.
Yes, Ahmed.
Rahma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. What is the situation in Tahrir Square, Rahma? Tell me.
The mood is quite festive, Ahmed, and it really helps with the current band that's playing on the main stage that is usually used for political chants to create a sense of determination amongst the protesters that are currently staying at Tahrir Square. Now that stage is occupied by a band that is playing national music, again in celebration of the 10th of Ramadan. So in a sense, the mood has gotten back to the fact that it's a celebration, mainly a celebration for the 10th of Ramadan. Also helping the scenario is the abundance and army helicopters that are hovering over the square, releasing various Egyptian flags.
Yes, so what about the marches that we've heard that they are coming from Rabaa al-Adawiyya intersection to Tahrir Square, actually trying to attack the protesters there? Are they true?
We have heard about that, but it doesn't seem like it's true so far. We've spoken to many of the protesters that are staying here, and they don't seem at all in the least bit perturbed. They are stating that they are ready if there are violent attacks, but they will remain peaceful. That being said, organization here is quite excellent. It seems that people have sort of made more extreme precautions, such as with regards to the main entrances. They have been blocked halfway by cars so that there is more concentration on the people that are entering. Again, we're having the typical body searches. In front of the stage, it's strictly for females. Again, it's nice to say that there are probably more females here at the square than there are males, but with regards to the threats of security breaches, people don't seem to be perturbed. We do know for a fact that they are staying for a suhoor, a meal, suhoor meal altogether, so they will be staying, but not a sit-in.
Yes, Rahma, you've said that the celebrations are ongoing there in Tahrir Square. What about on the political side? How did they receive the new cabinet and the appointment of Dr. Mohamed She7ata as the vice president?
It's interesting you should say that, because a lot of people haven't hit the square because of the fact that the new cabinet has been placed in. They feel that a political discourse is already underway. There's really no need for the excessive numbers that are hitting the various squares. That being said, just as you stated, there are still very many political signs that are being placed up, even with the Ramadan theme.